so easy to hyper focus on what's going wrong because at its core, that's a survival skill. But when we hyper focus on what's going wrong, that's all we can see is the things that go wrong. And it requires conscious effort to look at what's going right. And when you start to notice what's going right, you start to notice more of what's going right. But that requires work. It requires a practice of, for me, it's a gratitude practice, being grateful for small things. Do you stay worried even when things are going well because you're always waiting for that next thing to go wrong? On today's episode of That's a Great Point, we start with a discussion around goal chasing and always seeking that next achievement so we can finally be okay. We then move into talking about how being grateful allows us to treat happiness less as a destination and more as a way to travel. We also talk about how feeling good can feel scary and how looking for the bad can invite more of it into our lives. We've changed our format to deliver more content in less time. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for playing along. Enjoy. Welcome to That's a Great Point, the attitude adjustment for your soul, where co-hosts Alina Doran, Michelle Albers, and Lee Smart discuss deep topics around a life well lived. Let's start the show. All right. So we just had a really cool discussion. We talked about all kinds of stuff. And we know how the meaning of life plays out.
It's a shame we didn't record it because everyone would have been let in.
I know.
Because we had the answer.
Yeah.
They're going to have to find it for themselves.
The moment's gone now.
That's it. You have only one chance to find out.
There's no way we can recreate that discussion again.
No.
Especially since the pressure's on the record button.
Yeah, let's be fake.
Let's be fake.
Yeah. Yeah, so we were talking about waiting to finally get there. Then we'll finally be okay.
Yeah.
And I brought in the example of how we're at a job, we have a certain level of income, and we think once we finally get that promotion, then everything's going to be okay. When we get that promotion, we get the new level of income, and we get new stuff, and we get new debt, but nothing actually ever changes. There's no sense of okayness. Now it's, well, then maybe I just didn't get the high enough promotion. No, let's get another promotion, and then I'll finally be okay. And the cycle of, I'll finally be okay when that happens.
Right. It's this whole, it's our culture. I sit in my office and I'm looking at this beautiful tapestry of buildings, tall office buildings, residential buildings in front of my windows, and all the things that people own by which they identify themselves. And all the milestones, the barrier. Once I get to here, then I can fill in the blank, right? And that's what came up when you suggested the topic to talk about. It's like once I lose weight, I can put on a bikini, or once I lose weight, I can start to date, and find love. Or once I get that promotion, then I can focus on dating. Or then I can focus on, my children, or once, it's like, wait for Wednesday. Wednesday's hump day. Once I get to Wednesday, I can relax because the weekend's around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Once Friday comes, I'm going to really relax. It's the countdown. It's the countdown. We all have countdowns in our culture. Once I get to here, then it's going to be okay. And then you keep doing that. And then you get to the end. Mm-hmm. And so how fulfilling is that? Yeah. To just jump from thing to thing.
Well, and then I wonder, we set these goals, we want to get to a thing. Is it that I mean, why don't we pause to celebrate that thing? Is it doesn't feel like we thought it was going to? Is it because we just can't settle in and allow ourselves that pause to be happy? Is it because the goal itself is what makes us happy and motivates us, and that's why we keep moving it? Like, you know what? And I don't think there's one answer. I think it's layered and, it depends on the moment and the person, and it could be all of the above and more. But I just think it's fascinating that I can't wait till this thing. And then you get to the thing and you're just like, huh, well,
Oh,
what's the next thing I want to not wait for then? Like,
yeah, it's not as fulfilling, right? As you're talking, I thought about the play Waiting for Godot by Samuel Beckett. And it's an absurdist theater play where these two men spend the entire time waiting for Godot, and Godot is stand-in for God. Basically, they're waiting for God, for things to happen, and it never comes. And so they spend their lives waiting. And like there's a lot of the entire play happens while they wait for Godot. And it's this idea that like life may not have an ascribed purpose, a prescribed purpose, right? That we often wait for something external to happen to give it meaning. And so you might as well give it meaning and live that way instead of waiting for something external to dictate it to you.
Mhm. I've actually written about this before. How every goal, if you really look at it, it's a desire to achieve a certain state, a certain emotional state. And I actually picked this up from one of my mentors, Trip Lanier. It's at the whole freedom, love, alive, and peace framework that he uses. Like every goal, if you really dig into what you're craving behind this particular goal, there's going to be one of these four things at the core of it. Either searching more freedom in your life, you're searching for more love and connection, that sense of aliveness, that sense of this is what I'm put on this earth to do, or even a sense of peace. You look at the money thing. That's once I finally have this much money, then I'll be at peace. I'll be safe. I'll be okay. Or if you look at the dieting and wanting to look pretty, and once I finally look a certain way, then I'll be acceptable. Then I'll be lovable, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Or once I get that certain career, then I'll have freedom of choice. I'll be able to choose what to do from that place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
Or if it's
that's
like I have this certain car that I crave this particular sports car. It might be make driving that sports car makes me feel alive.
right. 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 It's you're building toward something, and you won't be satisfied, and you won't be present and like rest in it and be happy with right now. You won't be happy until you get there. And inevitably, when you get there, it'll be like anything in life that humans create, it will be imperfect. And
Hmm.
then it will be a letdown if that's all it is, if that's all it is. And I love that the article, maybe you share it with the readers at the end of this. So I think I remember that article, and I love that it's getting to the purpose, the why behind the goal is so important. If you're just looking for the thing, it's not, it's short-lived and not fulfilling. It's
Hmm.
seeking for the what's behind the thing. Like you just said, what's the state you're looking for, which unearths what's the value that you're honoring. What happens for you when you get that thing? What?
Hmm.
it's like pointing to the meaning that we give it all, right? I feel like too, like setting a really specific goal is a great thing and it can help you manifest said thing and get you to the place. But the more parameters you put on said goal, the more likely it is for it to feel like a failure at the end because the chances of everything lining up exactly pristine and pretty the way you envision it is pretty slim to none. And if we tell
Hmm.
ourselves that's the only way it's successful, then we're screwed because
Mm,
you know what I mean? It's like
Hmm.
that's a slippery
yes.
slope and a conundrum because it's like, yes, having a very specific goal with really defined like units of success is really important. But then also it can be a way to just completely sabotage the whole thing because what if something different is actually like better, right? More successful, but you can't even see that because you're so like zoned in with the blinders on to only
Yeah.
very one specific rigid, like linear looking thing. I don't know. I just
And
think the meaning, we could give ourselves so much grace in just creating a new meaning in what all of that might look and feel like. But why don't we?
yeah,
I love what,
go ahead, Lee. Sorry.
yeah, I love what you just said, Michelle, because it so exactly points out exactly what happened to me in my first business. At
Mm.
first, it was, we'll be all right. We'll have a successful business when we get to $10,000 in revenue a week. And we made it, crossed that goal line. It's like, oh, yep, still not there. Still no peace, still no freedom. Must be 20,000. So we did it. And whenever I made it to $40,000 a week and I was still miserable, that's when I started to go, okay, there's got to be something else. I'm missing something. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what I'm missing, but I'm making more money than I could ever dreamed of making. And I'm still freaking miserable. Why am I still miserable? So I started to look at it and really study this. And I realized after doing it, it's like happiness is not a destination. Fulfillment's not a destination. It's a way to travel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Oh God, yes. I have I have a dear friend who's going through, I think it's about defining success. And that's what both of you are talking about. Like, what is success? Is success, what does it look like? It's, I now make X per month. I now own these cars. I now live in a house of at least X thousand square feet. What is it? Is it a state or is it a thing? And that's a clear delineation. I have a dear friend who's going through, who's an executive and going through a difficult time looking for a new role. Very, very difficult work situation. Toxicity at work, bad, toxic boss, just deteriorating the culture and trust. And like, she has to go look for a new role. And as she's out there looking, and she's been like physically ill, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I talk about the cost of being an asshole, the cost of working for a psychopathic, uncaring, or cruel person is, it's a very expensive cost. So she's been physically ill from working with this person, looking for a new role, and can't let herself enjoy the moment, won't let herself enjoy where she is right now. Because the only way that success is being defined in her mind is only once she gets the new role. She cannot rest, she cannot laugh, she cannot allow joy until she has a new job. Because, and she's got reasons, of course, right? There's a family to support, there are financial obligations to meet. Like there are a lot of, adulting happening. So it is important. And the conversations we've been having are around, how are you defining success and recognizing when you are succeeding and recognizing victories along the way, right? Like the fact that she was helping her shift her mindset so that she could remember who she is, right? Because she sort of, when you're working for a boss that's abusive or cruel, you forget who you are. You forget all the wonderful things you've done and all your accomplishments, and all that you could feel in the moment is how small that person's making you feel when they're sabotaging you. That's what's happening to her. And so she has to remember, like, this is a person who has like 16 industry awards, like highest rated over and over and over. And the thing that makes the most impact in her head is what this one bad apple has done to her and the way that one bad apple has spoken to her and made her feel. So she goes into interviews contracted and unable to remember who she is. And so that's what we've been working on, is unlocking that, getting her out, remembering. And every time she's done that successfully, like, I nag her, like, that's a success. That is a victory. Like, check, check. You just succeeded. Whatever happens with this job, you came in and you tapped into who you really are. Congratulations. Like, you had a great conversation. Wonderful. Congratulations. Like your kids are home, they're about to go to college. You have them right now, and they love hanging out with you. Congratulations. You're a mom that teenagers want to hang around and bring their girlfriends to and hang out together. Like, congratulations, look at what you've made. Look at the life you're making. So, over and over, and there's like a stubbornness because that's the conditioning that she's had is success
Yeah.
is only, you can only celebrate what everybody else deems okay and appropriate.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of woe is me victimization going on here.
I think, I mean, there can be in cases, I think for her, it's trauma from earlier in her life that's been resurfaced with this really toxic person. She genuinely forgets. She forgets that she's won awards and that she's had all these wonderful things that I have to remind her.
It's so easy to hyper focus on what's going wrong because at its core, that's a survival skill. But when we hyper focus on what's going wrong, that's all we can see is the things that go wrong. And it requires conscious effort to look at what's going right. And when you start to notice what's going right, you start to notice more of what's going right. But that requires work. It requires a practice of, for me, it's a gratitude practice, being grateful for small things. And every day I'll point out a few things specifically that are just small things that I can be grateful for. And then I start to notice more and more often things I can be grateful for. And then I start to see the good instead of always looking at what's wrong.
Absolutely.
That's so powerful. And then there's another part of me that's it's powerful, and I do that too. And when I'm really in it, like when I'm really in a tough spot internally, when my internal world is in a shamble, I find when I do that and I start to actually feel safe, then I freak out because I don't want to trust it, because if it falls apart, there's like a piece of me that goes, well, you can't handle one more the rug being swept out from under you again. So you
Yep.
should just stay in misery. And so then it's like then I have that sort of internal battle of, okay, my internal world feels safe and it's freaking out because of that. And now which is also a trauma response, right? So it's like,
Yep.
now what? And so it's like, yes to the gratitude practice 100%. And also know that like if you're a human that well, whatever, pick your thing. It's like sometimes being safe doesn't feel safe if it's not something that's been part of your world. And so like then what? Like, do you have what do you do when that happens, Lee? Or is that an experience you've had? Because it's definitely one of mine, and I'm trying to
Oh,
reflect on
yeah.
what do I do?
Yeah, it's easy. Brene Brown talks about that quite a bit in the just waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you've experienced any kind of trauma, we're always looking for the next thing that's going to come in and, like you said, swipe the rug right out from under us. And it's because of not being fully present right now. It's always
Yeah.
worrying about the future, right? And if your brain is always stuck in worrying about the future, then you miss what is right now. And I agree with you 100%. That's freaking hard. Because as much as I know and as much as I try to do the practices and do the work, I still end up there all the time.
Yeah. I think for me, one thing that works on the regular, and I don't mean this in a codependent way, I mean this in a true human connection way, is to lean into people that I know, love, and trust.
Mm.
That will actually get me to a place where I'm like, okay. I mean, it also makes it more vulnerable because then I'm trusting another human to be safe. But there's something about that for me, and I don't know if it used to be true, but today that's my truth, is that like leaning into another human and inviting myself to receive that trust, to receive that support, to receive the things, which is hard for me. But there's something about that quote unquote challenge that offers me something, and almost like a, not even in a testing way, but almost just like a validation that it's possible to be present and to receive like support, love, and kindness.
Mm-hmm. Right. I think when you're talking about waiting for the other shoe to drop, right? That part of what that is for me is confirmation bias. because we're telling ourselves stories, and the narrative might be something like, I can't trust anyone. Maybe they're, if they're abandonment wounds, whatever it is, whatever the boo-boos are from our past, there's a story that we tell ourselves consciously or unconsciously. And those are the thoughts, those are the beliefs. And everywhere we go, we look for confirmation, right? Like bad things always happen to me. And so guess what? You're going to be looking for bad things that always happen to you. Always, every time. And the antithesis is, right, good things are all around me. And building those habits of look what else is around me. It's like if you go out every day looking for the color blue, everywhere you go, you're going to discover that there's much more blue in the world than you even theoretically thought initially, right? You're going to be seeing it everywhere you go, right? Or if you look for like a star shape, you're going to start seeing it everywhere. So it's that confirmation bias too of like, yep, the other shoe will drop. That's how life is. Someone's going to do it. If it's not you, then if it's not Lee who betrays me, it'll be Michelle. So I'm going to armor up and wait. It's one of you.
It's the same concept as say you go buy a new car and then all of a sudden you see that same car all over the road and you didn't see it previously. It's not like everybody went to go buy the same car at the same time you did. Just we primed our brain to see because we just purchased that car. Yeah, it's holy moly. I had something, lost it to the ether.
It will come back. Well, that car story is similar to like my experience when I was pregnant, and I did not see other pregnant women anywhere, and they weren't visible to me. I didn't know they existed until I myself was pregnant, and I didn't see maternity stores with items for babies. Like I didn't realize that I would pass them all the time. Like my routine living, I would pass stores that sold items for newborns, for babies. They weren't visible to me. I didn't realize they were there. Once I got pregnant, I realized that there were all these people around me who were also about to become new parents. It's like they were always there.
Well, and I think, like for me, as we're talking about this, I have the thoughts that I have, like the old stories, so to speak, that tends to be more logical for me. Like it's a story I've always told myself. I don't even really think about it anymore. And there's not a whole lot of feeling attached to it. There's just habits and routines and patterns. And then when I get to that meaningful place, it's like, oh, I'm actually looking at my internal landscape here. I'm actually listening to my littles, the ones that are feisty and pissed off and hurt and scared and all the things. And when I get to that place where I can go in and just like start to explore that and really figure out or even invite a meaning that I don't know. Like I'm not dictating it. It's not a thought that's in a habit. It's like a new exploration of, oh, there's this part of me that feels this way. I've never even looked at that before because I had her hidden in the shadows or hidden in the corner or hidden behind a wall. But what is the actual meaning of this? Because I'm a human who gets super logical and into my thoughts and just like, oh, that's the answer. That makes sense. That's, but most of the time in my deepest healing moments, it doesn't make sense. I have to get to a place where it's like I'm confused and I don't understand what's happening. And now I just need to like somehow sit inward and invite a deliberate and open conversation that isn't coming from my habits are really loud and really strong and I'm super stubborn. And so over time I've just learned like, oh, what does this look like if I get out of my head and start just listening inside my body, which sounds really weird, but like inside my body is where my littles live. And little Michelle has a lot to say if I actually invite her out into the room, if I can create that safe, sacred bubble.
I love that you call them littles. How did that name start? I'm curious.
The littles.
Yeah.
My friend Kat, she's a psychologist, and I feel like she's the one who said it. I talk about my inner child or like, my 8-year-old self or my 14-year-old self. And she's like, yeah, my littles get mad too. And I'm like, your littles, that's amazing. And my littles are also 24 and 27 and 35, like, but they're all littles because they it's like they show up from, like, my wounded self doesn't feel like a resourced and wise self. She feels little. She feels like she doesn't fully understand or comprehend the world or why it's happening in the way that it is. And she feels like she doesn't have a lot of choice until wise resourced Michelle, like, my wise old crone shows up and says, "Hey, we've done this for 55 years now, and it's a different landscape out here. Maybe come join me and we can integrate. And this might be kind of fun, but it's not going to feel fun to start with. It's going to feel terrifying and vulnerable and really scary. So how about we navigate that in a new and different way and see what happens?"
Love it. The 55-year-old Michelle it sounds like a guides and cares for the littles. Gives them guidance.
But it's really my highest self, right? Like, my 55-year-old self is still all kinds of fucked up.
Well, it's still a human.
But I do have a higher voice, a higher self, a divinely connected, like, direct dial that says, "Oh, this is divine. Get out of your own freaking way. Stop controlling everything and surrender." Like, there is a divine plan. I believe this. I'm not claiming this for everyone, but, like, for me, I believe there's a divine plan. I believe, like, I got lessons to learn and shit to do. But I got to go inward to really truly show up in a way that is, for the best and highest good.
Yeah. So we've managed to wander a pretty fair amount, noticing the time.
Ooh.
What do you want to leave everybody with after talking about this whole waiting for the next thing to finally be happy?
You've arrived. You're here. So be here. You can't be over there because it's not here. Well, what's here is where you are right now. So be here. All of you.
Yeah. That, and be playful. Consider that you can't even consider what's actually here for you. Like, you might not even, like, it might not be a logical thing that is possible for you to, like, that concept isn't here yet. So be here and take some steps and let it appear.
Mm-hmm. Thinking about Jocko Willink right now.
I like
Now,
him.
every time a challenge presents itself, the automatic answer is good. Good. I get to practice my protocol. I get to do the work. Good. I'm here. I love that. I love that so much. And that, there will always be challenges. There will always be the next thing that we're working on. And, happiness, fulfillment is a way to travel.
Mm-hmm.
And traveling gets a whole lot easier when we start from that, when we start from being grateful, when we start from the right now. Good.
Beautiful.
Anything else need to be said?
Mm-mm.
Beautiful. Okay, bye-bye. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to That's a Great Point with Elena Doran, Michelle Albers, and Lee Smart. To find out more about how we can serve you, check out our links in the show description. Thanks for playing along.